Hello, hello, hello. It is Ross Fertel, faithful reader on the forums, coming to you on day 4 of spoilers for Realm of Fear. There's a couple cards, but before we get to them, a bit of a programming note. Two of the designers on the set, Nathan Miracle and Ben Liebig, I apologize if I'm saying that name incorrectly, have had additional ways to use name and shame. If you go back and look at day 2, you can see the comments they put in. Thank you very much for doing so. Much obliged. But enough about the past. Let's talk about the present. A couple of cards today, and I'm going to start with the one that I just have a little less to talk about. That being Donahue. He's a Earth Icon personnel with 7 skills. And unless 4 of those skills are the rare skills, we've got a pretty solid guy there. Granted, Federation probably doesn't have too much problems with Officer, and it's not that he has programming and astrometrics and engineer, like you're probably not hurting for each of those skills, but it's that he has astrometrics and programming and engineer. So if you need those skills, he's not a bad person to have to get a lot of redundancy in your deck. I did take a look at some of the Paranoia decks. Those are some of the skills that they would need. Nice solid personnel. With the bonus of the Paranoia, he gets Treachery and Law. I do like that Law is becoming a little more available for Earth, opening up a few things for them to do. Federation already has some ways to do that, so giving them a little more Law is never a bad thing. Federation Treachery, that's around. If you're looking for Federation Treachery, you're probably not hurting for it. I do like that we're continuing to expand on what Paranoia can do. So, yeah, good personnel. But going on to the dilemma with the obstinate malfunction, I've taken a look at the damage dilemmas, and you can see them down below. There's a list of them. Note that they all require some sort of setup, because if you don't, they all have requirements that even a moderate away team should be able to get through. Because, if you had a dilemma that damaged and had high requirements, it would probably cost like 20 or something. So let's take a look at what this dilemma does. So you get to just outright search your dilemmas pile, find a damage dilemma, and just put it on top. So this is probably going to be the last dilemma you have for your opponent to face. So you could see how well the mission attempt goes, and then just kind of tool yourself for what dilemma they'll most likely fail. There are some good choices. There's attribute reduction. There's attempting reduction. There's making an opponent discard cards. You've got a pretty good selection of dilemmas to choose from. I just need to make sure that they hit. And it's kind of a good cheat if you could just wait and see how well things go before you make that selection. Do note that the dilemma returns to your dilemma pile, and it has a cost of 1. You don't want to overcost yourself with it. It is still a dilemma that your opponent faces. It's also tricky how many you put into your deck. Just because if you put 1 in, you'll get to it eventually. But if you put 3 in, by the time your deck is winnowed down, you'll probably be having those be 3 of the dilemmas in your dilemma pile. And when you only have the rest of your dilemmas left, that's not good. Remember, with a damaged dilemma pile, not only will your cards be going to underneath missions, but they'll also be on your ships. Hopefully on your opponent's ships. So just be aware of that. You don't want to thin things out too much. A good sized dilemma pile is always good. Alright. So there are some really cool tricks you can do with this. Just be prepared at the costs. And I'm not just talking about that one in the upper left. It is a space mission, space dilemma. So be aware of that. All right. That is all that I have for today. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.